special guest tonight played a huge part in the most exciting game, one of the most exciting games of all time, the 1977 drawn grand final. Please welcome the legendary Ross Twiggy Dunne. Welcome to Marngrook, Ross.
Thank you, Grant.
Great to have you on here. Now, look, mate, I suppose everyone always talks to you about that famous kick in 1977. Now, you did play, 200 other games where you kicked 500 goals. Does it annoy you that they always talk about that one particular instance, maybe not some of the other goals?
Yeah, well, it does a bit. I mean, a lot of blokes kicked goals in grand finals, didn't they? So, probably some, more important kicks. Or not more important, but just as good during games, halfway through the last quarters and all that sort of stuff.
Now, just tell us about when you were a young fella, who you barracked for and who was your idol?
Well, my idol was Freddie Goldsmith.
Yes.
And Bobby Skilton.
We had Fred on the show quite a few times.
Yeah, I was a South Melbourne supporter, no doubt. And
you used to do up his shoelaces, is that right?
Well, I used to get into the rooms and when I was about 8 or 10, and they'd throw me his boots and his white laces, and I'd put the laces through his boots for him.
But do you watch the modern game much at all?
Yeah, I watch the modern game a lot. Yeah, I enjoy it.
Who do you like watching in the game? The modern game today?
Oh, players or teams we're talking about?
Well, if I was playing, you'd be watching me. But
I've got no.
Have you got something that really excites you out there that you love watching?
I just like watching a good game, a good close game, and up and down the ground. And I'd like to see perhaps 16 aside, where there's a bit more athleticism in it. There's a bit more bouncing the ball and a bit more long kicks. Okay. But then the coaches would complain players wouldn't get enough rest. So I don't know how you get around that. No. But it's probably a little bit over congested, I think.
Yeah. Twiggy, after the 77 grand final, a lot of people wouldn't know this. You actually became the general manager in 1978.
True.
Now, you as a general manager, 6 games to go, Coach Tom Hafey pulls you out and says, Twiggy, come here. He takes you in the room and he goes, I want you to make a comeback. And you play the last 6 games. Tell us about that.
Yeah, well, he was at me a little bit before that, and so he finally got me. And with 6 games to go, I had to play 3 reserves games first, and had no match practice.
So you had no pre-season. You just walked in and played.
That's true. But I used to get out on the ground a little bit with the boys and do a little bit of kick around occasionally. And the first game was the reserves out at Waverley. And never got a kick, and I was that tired that night.
You were regretting the decision?
I was regretting it, yeah. But I stuck it out and played 3 games and 3 finals. So, the last game was probably the most disappointing I ever played in, because we got beaten in the 78 grand final, preliminary final. And North Melbourne beat us, and they beat us in the grand final the year before. So to not get them back on that day, that was a hard one.
Twig, the same thing happened to me last week. Bossy asked me for a comeback, and I said, no, I don't think that's it. But that's another story. I'll tell you about it later. In terms of now, watching Collingwood and North, the classic matches coming up again this week, where do you think Collingwood's sitting this year? How do you think they're going to go, and who's probably their most important player you think is going to have an impact for them for the season to make them play finals?
Well, I don't think Collingwood's got any downs at the moment. They've got no injuries. I don't think they've got any suspensions. They can pay the best specialists around the place. So they've got everything going for them. And I think they need blokes like Thomas to fire up a bit. I think he's injured this week, though, isn't he? But for the season,
today.
For the season, he's got to prove himself a bit more than what he has in the past. I don't know how they're going to go with outdoors down there. Whether the bloke from Western Australia is going to cover them enough, or whether they're going to leave Cloak to do a bit more work closer to the forward line and rely a bit on the younger blokes, smaller blokes. Okay. I'm not sure. So it'll be interesting to see how Collingwood tackle.